You may not be able to see it on the photos in your scrapbook, but there's something transparent about the stained glass window, something sublime about its brightness. The light that goes through it gives life to the story it relates.
And each panel of every window relates to the life of Jesus, the adoration of the Magi, the baptism, the Sermon on the Mount, the wedding feast at Cana, the multiplication of loaves. The rose window, the central medallion, features a triumphant Christ on the cross.
While the outer medallions are evocation of the Old Testament as a symbolic mirror of the new one.
Let's move on to the third stained glass window, still to the left, the mysteries of the Rosary.
The blues of the rose window are remarkable. The artist, Jan Tillmans, drew inspiration from the stained glass windows inside of the Cathedral of Chartres, which date back to the Middle Ages.
The characters blend into the background as if they remained in the mystery.
The lancets in the middle represent the mysteries of the Rosary, and we remember that originally a rosary was to be recited 3 times.
And we can see them in the stained glass window, the joyful, the sorrowful, and the glorious.
The side lancet depicts some of the instruments of the Passion, while the outer medallions feature 6 characters from the Old Testament.
King Solomon with an angel, the high priest Aaron, Queen Esther and her acolyte angel, King David, Judith, who liberated her people from Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and finally, Moses and the burning bush.
For Father Tillmans, the artist, each character evokes an aspect of Mary's personality: wisdom, mother of Jesus, mediation, mercifulness, protectiveness, and immaculateness.
If you look at the top of the choir, there's a stained glass window that evokes the prodigy of the eyes.
We see Our Lady of the Cape looking up towards the pilgrims, as in the story we tell on the Miracles cassette.
It's really the image I have in mind when people speak about Our Lady of the Cape. That's how Mary is.
And let's recall that it was one of the shrine's 2 foundational events.
8 angels can be seen in the medallions on each side.
And I noticed that some are holding musical instruments: a lute and a double trumpet.
I learned that the angels we see are not an accurate representation.
What do you mean?
Well, in the past, angels were terrifying. The ones we see here are all nice and lovely with broad smiles. In the popular imagination of yesteryear, they were horrible and frightening.
I noticed that to the left in the northern absidial,
Absidial?
the small rounded shape behind the choir, are 5 stained glass windows dedicated to the Eucharist.
In it, we can see the prophet Elijah receiving bread from the angels and Christ appearing to disciples on the road to Emmaus.
Christ on the cross, John the Baptist the precursor, and finally the wish of the Emmaus disciples.
And now to the right, in the southern absidial, are 5 stained glass windows dedicated to the missionary oblates of Mary Immaculate.
Those who serve the shrine, the image of Mary Immaculate with 12 stars. Wow, oh wow.
It really is very luminous. Here's an anecdote. The Oblate Madonna is also the statue of the Virgin Mary, which is in the chapel of the Oblates' General House in Rome.
It comes from a church in Aix-en-Provence. We can also see a stained glass window by Eugène de Mazenod.
He was a founder of the missionaries. We mention him in the characters cassette.
Finally, the last 2. The congregation's coat of arms, and an angel with a trumpet and an angel with a cross.
I learned that in 1633, the cross we see here, well, it was lengthened.
Huh? Really?
Yes, indeed. Crosses used to be shaped like plus signs. And you can see the pluses everywhere on the different columns.
For my part, I learned that in 1633, the colors of fabric were changed according to the events of the ecclesiastical calendar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
During the Advent and Lent, purple colors fabric were used. White is for Christmas and Easter, while red is used during Pentecost.
And I imagine that green is used in ordinary times.
That's right. But now we're going to take a little break, Grandma. Just the time needed to get to the south side.